so happy to be here and hear that actually so many people from the stage talk about digitalization and about different systems. And I was a bit worried that I have talked about my topic so many times that I'm not sure could that be even interesting, but it seems that it goes in line with all the other presentations. So let's start. My name is Liesma. I usually don't say my surname because my name is that rare that no need for surname. I work for Squalio and I talk about this particular topic about HR project implementation because of two reasons. One reason is that I have had experience myself with my previous employer with Workday implementation. So that was a project for 14,000 employees and I was responsible for performance management area implementation. And then the other aspect of my experience comes now when I work with the customers of Squalio, where I help them to do this digital journey. And yeah, we talked a lot about going digital is a must, that HR must transform and we need to think about employee experience. But why so many companies haven't done it? Thinking about that, what comes to my mind are it's difficult, it's complicated, it takes a lot of time. And I want to show you how it looks like. So I have counted those are 9 steps to complete your digital HR implementation. And in this particular case, I assume I talk about HR core system for up to 500 employees. Let's imagine that situation. And it doesn't look too difficult, isn't it? One step of them is to celebrate the success, and I assume that couldn't be too difficult. So where does the complexity comes in? And it couldn't be also time consuming, because if you ask vendors, they say for this amount of people, let's say 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks for project implementation? Wow, easy, fast, cool. Why haven't we done it? Yeah, if we talk about vendors, I have a list here of vendors. You can check them, contact them, ask how much time do you think we will need, our company will need to implement your system. Have a look at these, ask them. What is the real user experience is that in reality for HR teams, it takes up to 9 to 16 months to really implement any HR system. And that was my experience also with previous employer, that 3 years we did the preparation and within 1 year we implemented the system. Yeah, food for thought. What does the vendor does? Vendor does, they will participate in the vendor selection, they will sign the agreement with you, will do the implementation workshop, so they will design your processes and it will take some time for them and that will involve some complexity. They will also do their testing and data migration. Go live is a push the button. So this really takes up to 6 to 8 weeks for them, for a company up to 500 people. Not complicated, isn't it? Yeah, you can do that. Anyone can do that. Great. So, what is... Okay. Slides are a bit different as they had to be, but okay. But then when we talk about what is then the reality and what takes time for you as HR, as a company who want to start your project, it is actually the preparation time for the project. And that takes 1/3 of your time. So the technical part, actually building the system for you and building those processes, it's not the hardest part. So what are then those, we'll start with the 20% of time. So what do you do technically when you have chosen the system? As said, you will sign the formal agreement with your vendor. Nice, we have a marriage, let's go together to this way, let's build our perfect system, have all the processes in there. What you will do the implementation workshops with your vendor. In this stage, you will tell them, hey, I want this and that process work, this and that. I want the workflows that Soren was mentioning to be working like this and that. This will be the reality kick for you as a team to understand what is actually happening now and what is the work that you must do. From my experience with previous employer, what was, I think, key for success was that we had a dedicated project team who was involved in these workshops from the very beginning. From the first day, you have the whole team working on this project on board. They know what are their tasks, what are the processes that they need to build. We set the deadlines, and we have up and running process from the very beginning. In the meantime, what else I really suggest you to do, which is not maybe that technical work, is to start your internal communication. And one of my favorite things to say usually is that you can buy the best system ever, but if you do not communicate that to your company, to your colleagues, it won't work. It just won't work. And so what we did with my previous employer is we had the change ambassadors who were promoting, hey, we are going with Workday, we put the employee experience first. It's important for us how our employees are experiencing the technology. We want them to have the best experience. Promoting that on a very regular basis and start early enough. Start early enough because keep in mind the change acceptance curve that it takes time for people to adjust to the change. And there always be some kind of resistance that, hey, why do we spend this big amount of money for HR system? Do we need that? What kind of benefit that will bring? Oh, I don't know. So you must answer these questions and explain them. Why do we do that? Yeah, that's about the internal communication, what I really suggest you to do. About the data migration. Now I want to share example from what I see now working with our customers, that they have chosen a system, they have this formal agreement of starting to build that, they did the implementation workshops, and nothing happens next. Nothing happens because, well, yeah, HR do not have time. HR is busy with other areas, like we have budgeting now ongoing. We can't do the data preparation. So data preparation technically is the process which will require most time of HR. And keep in mind that it's not only HR who is doing that. You will also have involved, for example, finance and accounting teams to prepare some data from their side. Your IT colleagues will be involved. So this is the most technically difficult part. And yeah, when you have migrated the data, you do the testing. That was my surprise with Workday. I was process owner for performance management, kind of always working with this soft part, training HRs, training managers about the process, thinking how to change our performance evaluation, promoting importance of feedback. And then one day, with this Workday project, I get the understanding that, hey, Liesma, you need to do performance testing in Workday. I was like, kind of, what? Me? I'm HR. I don't do testing. It's technical. Kind of, aren't there technical people for doing that? And it turned out to be an excellent journey to go through, because who else knows the process best than me, who is the process owner? So I ran through the process of testing, checked how it worked together with the other processes like compensation management, talent management, calibration. So that is all a great source of learning where you can also understand what you need to improve for your system. Why is it? Yeah. But all this, what I was just telling you about, that is what is happening very practically within the system implementation. And as said, that was 20% or let's say 1/3 of your time. What takes the rest is the preparation. Preparation is a key for a successful project. And this is what I see currently with our customers, that we meet with them, hey, we need a system, but kind of this preparation part is lacking. So there are several topics that I want to talk about the preparation, and let's start with the appraisal of current situation. What we did with my previous employer, we did, let's say audit. I don't like that word, but yeah, HR audit about how our global HR processes are happening in our company. And this consultancy agency gave us suggestions what we can improve. Yeah, that was nice, and big companies do that. But in reality, when I think now with our customers, what we do, we sit together and we draw what are your processes and what we can do differently, what you want to make more efficient. After setting this understanding where you are currently with your processes, my suggestion is to set the goals, what you want to achieve, what you want to improve. Let's say you want electronic signature. How will that improve your business processes? What kind of... hi, Martin, so happy to see you. How this will improve your processes. So you need to set several things that you want to achieve that will make your business, your HR processes more efficient. Without that, there's even no I don't see what is the starting point, where you start your journey. The next thing is think about your allies in your company. So who will also benefit from, let's say, not the system implementation, but from process improvement. So if you make the processes more efficient, let's say having a self-service for employees to submit their absences. So who will benefit from this? Absolutely all the managers in the company will benefit. They will have the overview of absences. Finance and accounting might benefit as they will receive the data faster. In some cases, I have heard that lawyers are the ones who are supporting these decisions due to the compliance reasons. We talk about kind of this compliance a lot, and I think GDPR has settled down a bit, but yeah, not everyone is still following all the requirements. So also lawyers can be your allies in this process. It's important to get the allies, because when you go to the management that, hey, we need this and that system and you need to invest the money, it's good to have this team with whom you do this together. Finance will definitely help you do the financial calculations, and that is almost next stop. To do the return of investment calculation, which I absolutely say is a key when you go for any system. Calculate together with your finance team in how long time you will get this return of investment back. And it might be not the first year, it might take a couple of years, but still to have this financial background for your project. And when finishing your preparation, thinking about request for proposal. And this is not something what only big companies like my previous employer did. I really think that every company who is going for any solution, they should have a list of processes they want to improve. And when you meet the vendors, it's so easy just to tick the box. Do you complete this or not? What is the price tag for each and every functionality that you want in that system to be doing? And without the request for proposal, your discussions with sales representatives are just, oh yeah, you have a nice system, it looks good, it's doing a lot of great things, but hey, how will it help my organization? How it will help my organization to become more efficient? Yeah, so I run through this one. Yeah, I already started to cover this vendor selection, and what I really suggest to you is to enjoy that moment when you can meet several vendors. Meet as many vendors as you can. Talk to them, ask them how much time they do one or other thing, what are the ways how they do that in their system, how ready they are to adjust the system in one or the other way. Explore them. And the other big suggestion is to learn from your network. I'm very happy to see now that in Latvia it's sharing and networking practices are coming in, and we are not hiding anymore what kind of systems we use, that now we have started to share that. So talk to your network, ask them what kind of systems they use, what works well, what doesn't, what they would suggest for others. So yeah. So as said, that's how I see that actually all this practical part, technical part takes 20% of time, and the 80% goes to the preparations. Appraising your situation, understanding what you want to achieve, calculating ROIs, preparing request for proposal. So that all takes the most of the time. Yeah, but when you have done that, don't forget to celebrate. As a Workday fan, I'm of course following them in every social media that I can, and almost every day I see a company launching Workday and having Workday cake. And that's of course a great employer brand activity to have, but it also is a recognition for the team who has been working on that project and thanking them for the work that they have done. I suggest to celebrate stories like that. Yeah, nice thing. So yeah, preparation, that is the key, absolutely, for any HR implementation project. Thank you.
Thank you, Liesma. Do we have any questions for the roadmap? Yoo-hoo, we have it. I'm coming.
So my question is, as you say, project takes around 9 till 16 months. How to manage changes on that time? Because usually it is like we implement something, we start to test, and then we decide, no, it is not what we need. So how to manage these changes? Thank you.
Absolutely, great question. And I think my answer would go again to this preparation phase, that it's a very sad situation if you understand that this is not what you need when you have already launched something. Really not the best case how to do that. So in the case of very good preparation, you shouldn't face that. But then again, if the situation is as it is, then the proper change management communication is something that must be involved. And ideally, which comes from the management, not from HR, but from the management, explaining the situation. Hey, this went wrong. We were wrong with that decision, but let's try to fix that, and doing that from the management side. I always believe that it's the management who should lead this project. It's not about the HR. It's really making the business more efficient. So management should communicate it.
Okay, we had one more question. Yep.
Hi. Thank you for your presentation. This was great. A very hot topic, I think, for all HR and IT stuff. I have a question about the roadmap and the communication part. In the roadmap, it was before the testing. So why exactly at this moment of time? Why do we need to communicate before the testing? And also, who is taking the ownership on the communication with the employees? Because usually this part is not very concrete. And another question, what is the perfect synergy between IT and HR staff during the project? Because this also creates a lot of frustrations when those two areas who are usually different mindset people, what is the perfect way of the communication and building the best relationship to give the best outcome? Thank you.
I will try my best to answer these three questions. So first was about why before testing. As said, and in my experience as well, I really suggest to start the communication very early for people to settle down with the idea that something is going to change, especially if that will be this, as said, for example, self-service, that employees who have used to say, bring the paper to the HR team and do the changes related to, I don't know, personal data. Now they will be able to do themselves. So start to kind of explain to them why do we do this change, and we start that early enough. Sorry, I will. The other thing is when starting that early, you get more questions from the teams that you can have time to answer. Otherwise, if you won't start early, you find yourself after the testing, you are almost ready to start the communication, but there are so many questions that your communication is just not ready for that. So there isn't one absolutely right answer for that, but my suggestion always is to start it very early. Who should be leading that? As I was responding to your colleague, I always believe it should be management. Management explaining why do we implement any system, and it should come from top to down. Having the change ambassadors, meaning the internal influencers in the company who have a say, it might be a lawyer, it might be a sales manager or anyone, but having the people who have impact in the organization promoting this change. And the third question about collaboration with IT. Very good question. I believe that human interaction is something which HR is very good at, usually, and I, as HR with experience a bit less than 10 years, but I think why I love that position is to having a possibility to work with everyone in the organization, including IT. So it's about really working together. The leadership for this project comes from HR, but it's working together with IT.